This is Cumberland County Board of County Commissioners, our regular meeting. And actually, before we take roll call, I just want to say I want to thank Maurice Township for agreeing to host us. And it's the first of many places we're going to go on the road. We'll figure it out as we go. But I just want to mention the officials real quick. Mayor Ken Weldon, Committeeman Joe Sterling, and Bill Ashton, the committee. Yeah, and as the Maurice River Township Committee that agreed to right off the bat said no problem. We'll allow the county's commissioner to come out. We're glad to have you. We really appreciate that. Just want to mention former Mayor Roy Oliver here also who will be speaking, and Committeeman Joe Claudy from the Commercial Township is here, and Joe Teese from Lawrence Township. I see the sheriff is also in the room, Sheriff Alstino. So I appreciate it, and we're going to get started. So you go from there, Ms. Casbati.
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, Senator Byron M. Baer, Open Public Meetings Act.
And we'll take a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Now we'll salute the flag. Commissioner John Capizzola will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Clerk, it's kind of spotty. Will you give us the roll call?
Commissioner Pearson?
Here.
Commissioner Musso?
Here.
Commissioner Capizzola?
Here.
Commissioner Saleo?
Here.
Commissioner Lodes?
Here.
Deputy Director Romero?
Here.
Director Albrecht?
Here.
Can I have a motion and a second to accept and dispense with the reading of the minutes from the last public meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Will you like to read the communication?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Dear Commissioners, please find and close a resolution unanimously adopted at Commercial Township's regular meeting held on February 16, 2023. The resolution is authorizing Commercial Township to participation in the United New Jersey Coastal Coalition, NJCC. NJCC's mission is to build more resolute communities on Jersey shores and will provide resources to better prepare for the future flood events. Sincerely, Heather Miller, Township Clerk.
I'd like to take a roll call on accepting this. Voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next is
For the public hearing for the Green Acres application, I need a motion and a second to open public comment or hearing.
I'll make a motion. A second.
Voice vote?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Matt Pizarski, the County Planning Director. Further on in the agenda is a resolution to authorize application to the New Jersey DEP for a Jake's Law grant application for a Jake's Place playground. And anytime there is a grant application for a DEP grant, it requires a public hearing. And so that is what we're doing right now. I'm just going to give a brief background on the application, and then if there are any public comments, we can hear them, and then according to DEP standards, we want to try to answer as many questions as possible, and then the minutes from the hearing will go into the application, which is due tomorrow. So The Jake's Place Playground concept is for a completely inclusive playground for both children and adults. The Jake's Law, which was established at the New Jersey level, requests and enacts the implementation of a Jake's Place Playground in every county in the state of New Jersey. As part of that law, grant funding was made available through DEP, available to the counties to implement that program and to establish a completely inclusive playground within each county. A variety of locations, county-owned locations, were reviewed by staff and the commissioners, and consensus was to locate or propose location of the playground, the lawn area in front of the county library at 800 East Commerce Street on Route 49 in Bridgeton. That location was selected due to the large amount of population and disabled community that it would reach within a 5-mile radius. As well, there were several complementary uses in proximity to that location. The county library is located there, which has been undergoing a renovation for additional children's programming. So that connection seemed to be a positive one. It is also the location of the Office on Aging and Disabled for the county. There is a county bus route that stops right in front of that location. That location is also New Jersey Transit Access Link stop. CATS services that location. There is a public charter school adjacent to that location. There's a child care facility across the street. Tips Trailer Park is right down the road. It is generally an underserved census tract neighborhood. And the property currently has 23 trees and is otherwise just lawn. It's an underutilized space, and it is about 40,000 square feet, which is just the right size for a playground. The concept is that all 23 trees would be retained. They are either red oak or willow oak. I think 23 red oak and 2 willow. And the concept plan that we have is very rough. It does not deal with the formal design of the playground. If we receive the grant, then a design consultant would be selected and the details of the playground would be established. However, we do propose playground equipment that would be appropriate for kids age 6 months to 23 months. And then 2 years to 5 years, and then 5 years to 12 years. And then additionally, there would be seating and benching for adults, and there would be landscaping for native species or other opportunities for educational programming related to the landscaping. There's already existing parking surrounding that site. There is the potential that we could expand parking, and that's shown in the concept plan, but that would be to be determined with the design phase if we were to receive the grant. And the total cost is in the resolution, but roughly it is the total cost for the full project would be $1.648 million. The grant would cover 75%, so that would be a grant application of 1.236 roughly million, and the additional 25%, which is the local share, would be funded through the ARPA funds that the county holds. I think that covers it, and then if any of the commissioners have any specific questions or members of the public, I'll stay right here and try to answer them as they come up.
Sorry.
I'd like to make a mention. If you
Go
don't mind.
ahead, go ahead.
I'd like to, am I on? Okay. This thing on?
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you very much for your expedient answers, because one of the municipalities had some questions because they're looking to put a Jake's Park in as well. and there was some, basically, they needed some discerned information from you. And just make it understood that this particular grant is county-owned. Unfortunately, the other park that was definitely to be considered at the very infant stages of this particular program is not county-owned, so we can't apply the funds. So just want to make that aware, and you did say county-owned in your presentation. So I'll just make sure that's out there. It's county-owned. So thank you very much.
Thank you for raising that issue, Commissioner, because that was a question that was raised by a number of folks. It is county-owned property, and I think this is the perfect site for it. Nobody thought of it, of course, except you possibly, but this is a perfect spot. It's accessible for all the reasons that you said. So hopefully this grant will be successful, and we'll get it and make this playground a reality. People have been talking about this now for almost 20 years, so this is a good thing. Thank you.
Commissioner Cilio mentioned the question I was going to ask, that it is for county-owned property, and actually, that Commissioner Pearson has said that we look at we don't own many facilities that are parks, and that doesn't seem like it would fit other areas, so it kind of fits perfectly what you're describing. The money our match is money that we put aside for recreational purposes for future. This is just pieces that we're putting together because we plan to do other parks in the county. That's what we're striving to do. So, you mentioned the budget 1.648? Is that the updated amount?
That is the most recent update, yes. Okay. So we asked Moore Isaacson, it requires a registered architect to do the cost estimate, and Moore is a registered architect at the Improvement Authority. And so we worked with him on coming up with a cost estimate, we've been going back and forth on some numbers, and it depends on square footage and a variety of factors. We finally got to a point late this afternoon where we said, I think we have it zeroed in. And so the numbers that are in your resolution are the updated, accurate numbers.
Matt, I have one more question for you too.
Yeah.
Because the city of Vineland is so much further ahead on their project.
Right.
When I saw the renderings, they're beautiful.
Right.
Is there any way we can possibly use some of that so to circumvent some of the cost? Because I don't want to be I guess in this case, even though we're in the same county, that particular parks will be, if you're in a business, it would be basically competitors in a sense. Even though it's not really. One's at one side of the county, and one's the other side of the county. But is there any way that possibly you can get with the city of Vineland and speak with some of their people who are in charge of that project and maybe circumvent some of those numbers? I think it behooves us.
So we have.
I think they've got like $4 million into that project.
Right. That park is a little bit more involved. That includes like a splash park component, and it's larger in square footage than this would be. But we did start. The city provided us with their cost estimate, so that was our starting point. Okay. And then we actually spoke with the vendor that provides the playground equipment, and had a conversation with them about this space versus the Vineland space. And the Vineland equipment is a little bit more extensive than what we would have at this location. So that budget is a little bit higher on the Vineland side. But we're pretty confident based on that conversation with the vendor and the work that Mort has done, that these numbers are going to be able to produce a viable, very good playground.
Very good, thank you.
Matt, I have a question. Is there something worked into the budget for maintenance of the
So there is not in the construction proposal. However, one of the questions in the application is, what are the overall maintenance costs? So we did ask Public Works, and there is going to be roughly a $10,000 maintenance requirement for this site, which we'll have to work into the Public Works budget. in some way. Currently, the estimate is that this 40,000 square feet costs about $1,000 a year to maintain. Once the playground is in there and there's trash receptacles and equipment and leaves that have to be blown off the equipment, that will increase roughly to 10,000, but we'll have to just see how the Public Works budget works out when that's constructed.
Matt, you said it's due tomorrow, so we'll have to, are we ready to go with it, like, because it's due tomorrow?
Yes, I have pretty much everything except for the
I've seen
resolution.
before where sometimes no, so I'm gonna just
Right.
make sure.
And then the meeting minutes from tonight I'll do in the
We'll
morning.
be up to 4 a.m.
Oh, great. I had some hand delivered to me the last hour, that's why I asked. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the board? Then I'll get out of the way if there are any members of the public who want to field any questions.
Does anybody in the audience have any questions about this?
You gonna open it?
No, we're actually we're gonna open it up. Yeah, let's open it up. So it is open.
This is your hearing for this application.
Okay, so we're opening the public there.
Yes.
Okay, let's
Sorry, I didn't.
so can I have a motion to open up to the public so they can ask questions?
We did.
We
It's
already
already
did.
open.
All right. Okay. So, okay.
Good evening, I'm Nancy
Ms.
Ridge.
Ridgway.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Ridgway from Upper Deerfield and Fairfield Township. I have one question. Will there be restroom facilities?
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Will there be restroom facilities?
No.
No, it's not. Hello, can you
Okay.
hear me now? Will there be restroom facilities outside our buildings for the park itself?
Matt, will they, no,
That's all.
No, we are not projecting building restrooms as part of the construction.
the only, Ms. Ridgway, the only thing is, and I know after hours it would be, but we do have our libraries there and it does have pretty extensive hours, so,
Well, that's why I was asking,
Yeah.
because we do have buildings there,
yeah.
and are we gonna have restroom facilities after hours? Because they're gonna be in and out of our buildings, and that's gonna be wear and tear on our buildings.
Well, the
That's the only
answer would
question.
be no, but we do have a building there, so hopefully, and it is open because there are public libraries there, so.
I understand that, but I was just curious.
No, that's
Thank you.
good question, so.
Thank you, dear.
Actually, Mrs. Ridgway, that's an excellent question, and I do think that picking this location in particular that it has restroom facilities on site is a really good match, so.
Well, I talked to Matt before the meeting,
Mhm.
and we went over why he selected that area. And I told him, the public transportation. We moved our meeting down here, there's no public transportation.
Ms. Ridgway, I really think that we should take it, Matt, in consideration, because being that is gonna be away from the city, it might be important to have a bathroom there. I mean, it's something they're really looking to, and
It's not in the plans, and
it's
we
not in the
do-
plans, but
and we
it could
do
be
have
added to the
offices
plans.
there. We do have offices there that do have restroom facilities. So maybe,
Yeah, but we-
so maybe after hours, there won't be people utilizing the playground. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sargent, are they gonna have lights over this park? Are there gonna be lights?
So in the cost estimate, I think we did include some lighting and fencing. So, but the details of the lighting will be worked out in the design phase. However much we can afford in this budget, obviously there'll be security
Or
lighting.
restraint?
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else from the public who'd like to come up and?
I got a quick question. The flooring underneath of the playground, is it gonna be like playground mulch, or is it gonna be that rubbery stuff?
So actually that's interesting. So the law requires unitary surfacing
Okay,
so that there's full
Wheelchairs.
accessibility. Yep. So it'll be that rubberized material.
gotcha. That's not cheap.
No, it isn't.
It's not cheap.
And that was really the-
But that's good, because we don't have the cost of the playground mulch every year, that's not cheap either, and the maintenance.
That's it. You would know, Mr. Motion.
Anyone else like to make a comment on this, the Jake's Playground? I think it's a very worthwhile. When Matt originally proposed doing this, I thought it was a great environment that I know the mayor's been really behind their Jake's Park. I just thought the rest of the county should have access to something like this. The best thing is when you drive it by and you actually see people out there will be the best comment on how well it's received. So,
And I think it's in a safe location too, very visible, so I think people will feel safe to use it at different hours, so I think it's good.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion and a second to close public hearing for this?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're gonna move to the consent agenda resolutions. This is,
Public comment.
we're going to another public comment, sorry. Skipping the public comment.
I need a motion and second to open public comment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Alright. Alright, anyone would like to address anything?
Resolutions.
No resolution.
Former Mayor Roy Oliver's gonna come in first here.
Good evening, folks. My name is J. Roy Oliver. I live in Dorchester with my wife Barbara. And I am here on behalf of my brother, Vietnam War brothers, to ask a special favor from the Board of Commissioners. And that is, as you're well aware, many of the veterans of the Vietnam conflict, through no fault of their own, came in contact with a herbicide by the name of Agent Orange. And it was quite a debilitating experience. Some of the diseases that have been associated with Agent Orange: ischemic heart disease, prostate cancer, amyloidosis, acute anemia, chloracne, diabetes, neuropathy, birth defects in our children. There are others. The request that I would like to make from the board is that you write a letter to Congressman Jeff Van Drew asking him to renew his efforts to bring the award of a Agent Orange medal and/or ribbon to those Vietnam veterans who have been determined by the Veterans Administration to have been subject to some of the diseases that were caused by Agent Orange. With me tonight are two of my brothers. One is Bob Hamilton, fought in the U.S. Army in South Vietnam. He was awarded the Purple Heart because he was suffered wounds, but he also has Agent Orange problems. Brother Tom Swain fought with the 101st Airborne in the I Corps section of Vietnam. By the grace of God, so far, he doesn't have any symptoms, but he was in the area, same as I was, in I Corps, which was heavily exposed to Agent Orange. Jack Lafferty was supposed to be here, but he had another conflict. Jack has at least two different maladies attributed to Agent Orange. As for myself, I was awarded the Combat Action Ribbon for service in the I Corps area. I am 100% disabled. I have amyloidosis, which is incurable. I had prostate cancer. I have acute anemia. This past Friday, I had my third blood transfusion in 10 years. Some people, I think in Washington, think this is a joke. This is not a joke. We've had many good men and many good women already dead because nobody in Washington saw fit to give us our just due, and that is Well, we're not asking for money, and we're not asking for sympathy, and we're not asking for an apology. All we're asking for is some, how you doing? Asking for some tangible recognition that we can pass down to our kids to let them know that freedom is not free, that to defend this country, you have to take on certain responsibilities, and you have to suffer the consequences if that's what it comes to. So, in closing, I would respectfully ask the Board of Commissioners of Cumberland County to write to Mr. Van Drew to renew his efforts to bring this medal and/or ribbon to fruition. I just found out a couple of days ago that he had introduced a bill regarding same. It was House Resolution 4982. We introduced it on August 6th of 2021. As we all know, Mr. Van Drew does not have a very good relationship with Nancy Pelosi, who was Speaker of the House at that time. I'm surprised it even made it to the floor, but it did make it to the floor. It was referred to the Armed Services Committee. The chairman of that committee was probably a buddy of Nancy Pelosi's, and that's where that bill sits in some cubbyhole somewhere. Thankfully, thank God, the Republicans are now in charge of the House of Representatives, and I'm sure that the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee is now Republican. So let's support Van Drew getting this bill back in action and bring it to fruition. My brothers and sisters who've been afflicted with Agent Orange, we don't have much time left. And as I said in my letter, copy which you have, posthumous awards just don't cut it. If you walked in as you walked in the building this evening on your left, you saw our Wall of Honor, which represents,
As a liaison to the Veterans Affairs of the county, I promise you this will get done. Bring your other friends up here right now.
okay, Bob, Tom, come on up.
Breaks my heart.
I was going to say, before you got going, that I would like, since you already met our liaison, it could be brought up to our Veterans Affairs, the County Veterans Affairs office, and let them weigh in with the board, which I believe you already know our liaison's position, and also they make a recommendation to us, and we'll act on that. Does that seem fair to? So they would.
Absolutely.
So let's get their feedback, and with our liaison, we'll let them know, and then what they say, we'll run it by our solicitor, and whatever they determine, and you'll know. We'll make sure we tell you what happens, and we'll act from there. And we'll happy to do whatever they ask us to do. So does that seem fair?
It's more than fair, and we certainly do appreciate it. It's a long time coming, but as I was saying, as I mentioned, when you walked into this building on your left, you saw our Wall of Honor. On there were the names of veterans that have served Maurice Township from the Revolutionary War through Afghanistan and Iraq. If you look at the Vietnam section, it's the second largest section on that wall, second only to the World War II veterans. I would say of the number of names on that wall, probably number 200 Vietnam vets in Maurice Township alone. I would say at least half of them served in country or in the contiguous waters in the Navy. I would say probably at least half of them suffer some degree of Agent Orange problems. Multiply that by the number of towns, cities, and townships throughout Cumberland County, you're talking a lot of names. Multiply that through the state of New Jersey, you're talking a heck of a lot more names. And multiply that by 50 states in the Union, you're talking a lot of veterans who are affected by this. It's not a joke, and unfortunately, under Nancy Pelosi's reign, this was considered a joke, and at time it ended.
Well, let me say this, if I could take a kind of an informal poll and ask our board, if everyone agrees, we'll send it to our Veteran Affairs. We'll follow up, our business administrators here and our deputy business administrators, she's here, that they will follow up, make sure they have a meeting to discuss it. you're more than welcome, as it is an open public meeting, to attend that. And then they will recommend to us what they would like us to do, and we'll follow up, and you tell them what you would like them to do, and we'll follow with the commissioners here. We'll discuss that, so, at a future date, so, shouldn't take too long, so.
Well, we appreciate it. And again, it begins with letting Congressman Van Drew know that we're behind him and asking him to resurrect this bill, which has been cubbyholed by the former administration in the House. Let's let it see the light of day. And let these awards be tangible evidence to our kids and grandkids. Again, freedom is not free, and that 1% of the Americans defend the other 99% of Americans. We're not looking for money. We're not looking for sympathy. All we are looking for is a little respect and something we can pass down to our kids that signifies our sacrifices for this country. Thank you.
I'll take care of it.
Mr. Oliver, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Mr. Oliver, thank you so much for coming in tonight. I appreciate that. I want to let you know, I want to thank you for your service. I've been to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Museum in Homedale many times, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service and welcome home.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Oliver, I too would like to thank you for your service. Many members of my family served in the military from World War I, not always in the best of conditions, through World War II, straight through to Vietnam, and just retired recently from the Navy.
God bless
So
them all.
yes, I don't think they get the recognition that they deserve. There are so many men and women out there who have been victimized by Agent Orange, by so many things that have impacted them. Thank you for pushing this issue, and we hope that we'll all work together to get that done.
Thank you very
Again,
much.
Mr. Oliver, thank you for your service and everyone that's here tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. We're still open to the public. Any other?
Nice job, sir.
Sorry, state your name and where you're from.
Sandy, Sandy Acevedo, Upper Deerfield Township. On resolution 2023-177, the resolution authorizing assignment of an attorney, I guess, to Gregory Zeff. Can anyone explain to me the details as to why we have to pay attorney's fees for Mr. Zeff?
Ms. Acevedo, we were required, and Ms. Carr, you can talk, we were required to defend him.
This
Go
is
ahead.
not a defense of an
Go ahead.
attorney per se. This is a discrete matter involving a subpoena that deals with information that he dealt with in representing the county. So the letter of reservation is crafted to just deal with the subpoena because the privilege is ours and we do not have the ability to waive that privilege, the attorney-client privilege as a county, but we do have the ability to raise those issues for the court to properly dispose of them. But it's not defending the attorney.
Sorry, so I stay corrected. The idea is we have to provide that. That's correct.
It is
So
in the county's best interest
it's
to
interested.
deal with the discrete issue of that information.
And after that, we can go our separate ways.
That's correct. And if
So-
it is found that he did anything incorrect in accordance with the RPCs, with the law, et cetera, he is on his own.
Okay, I
Yep.
think I got it.
You got it.
Thank you.
Just state your name and where you're from, that's all.
Good evening. Appreciate you guys being here. Andy Sarcletti, actually former mayor also. So I have a question that I hope you can answer, and then just a couple of issues I would like you to consider. The question is, Southern State Correctional Facility was shut down not that long in the past, and there have been many rumors going around about what that's going to be utilized for, that area, and the county's name has come up in a couple of different possibilities. Is it to a point where you can actually answer the rumors, or are
Well,
you
we
still?
can answer the, actually, I came here to make the pitch way back, to this chambers, the Southern State, it's one of our options we're weighing. We're actually gonna bring, I think we're gonna bring a consultant in to give us numbers. Board members have taken a tour of it recently. It's one of our jail options we're looking at that we have to make a decision on. So it's not rumor, we are looking at it, and but we're gonna look at it, study, understand the numbers of it, and the other options, and we're gonna make a decision. And I was gonna tell the other commissioners that I would like to have a decision made, but no sooner than latest May 1st. So it is a big issue that we're dealing with. So.
And I wasn't trying to insinuate the county was hiding anything. There were rumors about the state, and they had a couple of rumors meandering about that were not comfortable for residents around here. But that's beside the point. If you guys are looking at it, that's what.
Well, we're looking at it. I can't say we're gonna do it yet, but we're looking at it.
But it would be for.
I was just there Friday.
It would be for county inmates, like.
It would be, A, if you're familiar with this, because I know there's a lot of correctional laws there, A and B is what they're allowing us to look at. C, the blue roof is moved to Bayside, and I see a lot of potential for it. Is there a particular reason why you're asking?
Well, the issue is I'm happy if the county is actually, and the state rumors were about illegal immigration housing and sexual offender housing, which has always been an issue. So
we haven't heard that. The only thing I've heard is that the female state prison that they moved from way up north was actually, they were looking at Southern State, but they were probably going to build the same kind of facility in the center of the state. So.
Well, that was my main question. A couple of items I'd like you to consider. East Point Lighthouse. It's like on every brochure that everybody in New Jersey puts out. They're proud to put that out there on the cover of magazines, but we cannot get DEP to cooperate. And Senator Testik can certainly affirm he's tried. Congressman Van Drew has been working on it for years. If there's anything that you can do, right now they're actually about ready to abandon ship because of the issues are getting so close and detrimental to the building. You know, they put their heart and soul into doing what they've done, and DEP will not cooperate. And
yeah, I'm on their board. I'm on their board. So, yes, I'm very familiar because there's actually, because of the dampness, they're having the issue of the kind of mold starting to grow, so they're starting to remove a lot of the furniture out of there, and and the DEP is. They need to redirect the water away from the lighthouse, and the DEP won't let them to take out an invasive species. We're alongside of it. Actually, Mayor Weldon has been working closely with the DEP to get their permission, but they don't, according to the way the paper's written, they do not have permission to remove that. It's kind of unfortunate because this is where a little home rule probably would save a great building. DEP sometimes has so many wings in so many areas, they don't even know what the other side's doing. I'm not the biggest fan, but we're going to continue to work on it, work with them to understand. So I hope, believe me, this commission is very sympathetic to the East Point Lighthouse. We know it's a kind of diamond for us in this county, and it's just a shame where it's at. That's all. So
I appreciate that. My third point is, or question is, I'd like to bring up the Cumberland County Mosquito Department. I mentioned I was the mayor, been on the committee from early 90s through 2016. In the 90s, there was a plan put forth to permit ditch cleaning in Marsh River Township. Specifically in the Heislerville area, but I'm not sure how vast beyond Heislerville, but Heislerville area. There was one family that was not agreeable to allowing access to their property, and there was one barred owl nest. And this was in the 90s. they wouldn't permit because it had been submitted as a package. So they wouldn't approve the package. That has not been addressed since then. Now, there have been like 2 or 3 ditches that have been touched up since then because of severe pressure from the congressman, I believe. But other than that, we're still dealing with ditches that don't drain properly, mosquito issues. Our current mosquito department superintendent, or whatever her title is, does not like to use pesticides. So we suffer the consequences.
Let me answer this. The tonight's resolution is a shared service agreement that we're going to trade. We're going to work with the townships, Public Works, to help to actually provide equipment and trade them how to go in and do maintenance on these areas, which I've been told, because the townships know better than I, 40 years of not being done, and we don't have a lot of manpower, but we, because, and I'll say Mayor Weldon was very proactive, and the committee in general, very proactive to say that they would willing to bring their people up, get trained, and participate when the county is in Maurice Township, and the county's in Down Township, or Milan, or wherever. So the shared service agreement is a start. Actually, our Public Works director is here. He understands how important it is to the commissioners and the county as a whole that this is an issue we have to deal with. 40 years is not going to happen overnight. But we got to start somewhere. By training more people to go in there will help. So, I hope that answers your question. So, not the specific question.
Since I stepped down, I've been leaving them alone, so I don't get involved in their business. But this has been, like I said, in the early 90s, it was obvious that it needed to be addressed then. So that, and it hasn't been. So thank you very much.
Okay, and as far as the spraying, and the county will maintain the spraying. We'll stay on top of the mosquito division to this county. So, all right. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah,
so
that's fine. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right.
Good evening, Dean Hawk, Upper Deerfield. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I've been coming to these meetings for quite a few years, but something is starting to bother me an awful lot. Every month we see these increases in payments to the lawyers, and it's got to be a way to stop. There's one here where cumulatively we've paid them a lawyer, $320,000. The one right after it was a total of $96,000. The one after that was a total of $50,000. First question, is that our taxpayer money? Or is it insurance? Is that our taxpayer money?
Well, it's around my way. It's our taxpayer money, but it's off the budget that we're paying it. The insurance is not paying. Even if insurance money is self-insured, is still taxpayer money that we're putting aside too. So
then I think that you people have a responsibility to us to at least let us know what these are for. And if we don't know, there's no description as to what's happening, why it's being done, whose dog bit who, and I think we should know more. Because these are not the only 3 that happened. There's a lot of them that didn't have their fees increased. And I wouldn't go so far as to say they're less than honest lawyers. But I'm sorry, I think we should know what these $320,000 is paying for. And in detail. Not just, oh, this guy did this and this guy did that. Now, maybe the law says, no, we can't do that. If it is, that's fine, but I think we should know. I just think it's terrible.
Well, Mr. Hall,
and there's also one in here for our buddies in Mamaro, which I think they shouldn't have anything from us.
Yeah.
Nothing. Now, sorry, I'll be quiet.
Well, Mr. Hawk, you're actually correct, and actually, our legal, John Carr solicitor goes through them and gets quizzed by this board on exactly that, because we're offended by that. Many of those cases we've inherited, and one of, I don't know the particulars, but one we inherit is the federal lawsuit that we have to defend ourselves and defend our wardens. It was a complete mess. That actually, Ms. Acevedo asked about the attorney, all part of that same mess that we're trying to clean up. The county gets sued. We have to defend ourselves. This is stuff that's been going on, and we've been weeding it out as we can. And the cumulative is there because we present that. If you have detailed questions we can answer, we will happily answer about it. But you come to the meetings, you hear what we hear most of the time of what, why, and what for.
No.
So,
We don't hear why on this.
Okay.
We don't hear why.
well, then, all right, we're going to
do
stand.
not.
We'll go when we
Yeah,
go
there
down
was
this
a comment
list.
the last meeting that was very short.
Okay.
And I can understand that. But no,
Well, that's a
we
good
don't
question.
know.
So when we go down this time, we'll happily go through what this attorney's working on, so you know the particular case. We can do that. We can't tell details of what, but we can actually tell you. That's a good question, so you
And
should
then
know.
in the newspaper over the last couple of weeks, there was this information about payments to the families of people that committed suicide in the jail. I mean, that should be put out also. Not just in the newspaper, but put out. The people that come here should know about that. What happened to the guy that didn't make his rounds? A person hung themselves. Is he still a guard?
I believe
Hello?
he still is. No, I believe he still is. Yes, he's good.
You should let me help.
Okay, let the solicitor answer.
There is still ongoing action with regard to some of those cases. So to the extent that this board is kept informed, I cannot keep them informed of any criminal action that's ongoing with regard to those matters, because I wouldn't be involved. However, to the extent that there is money within that $250,000 coverage
320.
limit, I beg your pardon?
320.
Well,
$250,000 is what our self-insured retention is.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Then this board is kept absolutely aware, and they're also kept aware of what the insurance company decides to do. So, but your points are valid, and I can tell you that this board has been pretty aggressive at saying we want to try to resolve things, get them off of our docket, and we want to understand what the fees are for and what's the end plan.
Correct.
And I think that this board is working hard at that. However, to the extent we can, we'll provide more information as we go through the meeting.
It just seems, thank you, it just seems like every time I come here, there's more of these,
one at a time.
with more and more money.
Mr. Hawk,
Good.
attorneys have a tendency to create, which we've had conversation, a volleyball game, back and forth. And they keep putting it off so they can put billable hours in. I can tell you right now, this board has been so disgruntled with the actions of these attorneys that we are looking to remediate this situation as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, some of these cases are more involved than we'd even like to know. And they're actually, some of them are embarrassing to, let's say for the jail situation, it's embarrassing that some of these things occurred. Some of it was because of COVID. There are a lot of different reasons. The problem is some people see things as a paycheck. And you know how this world is. It's so litigious. There's so much litigation going on in this. I'll liken it to the point of the cup of coffee that spilled in a woman's lap. She found a payday off of that. All right? It's the same idea. Some of these things in the jail have had that type of situation. So you have to just be patient. We are moving very quickly. Now that we have a new staff involved, we're fully in operation. We are going to move to the point where we're going to get rid of this litigation as quickly as can.
Otherwise,
That's the point I was going to say too. Our last meeting, we were all pretty aggressive about that. I know that was the biggest eye-opening thing for me. It was my first meeting. I was looking at all these payments we're making to all these attorneys. It was very eye-opening. So we finally had our meeting where we got to understand what this is all for, and we have some good explanations from the staff. Trust me, we want to move forward.
if anything, is it is it correct to say we're only gonna hire Cumberland County lawyers? So at least that money stays around here, or is it more
You also have to get-
complicated than that?
You also have to get attorneys that can get the job done, so that's
Yeah,
important
be
too.
realistic about this. This is what it is. And I think our county council has very much answered the question, because this is not something we can predict. It's not a crystal ball. We have no answers right now. We have to go through this process. So really, everybody is working on this, and everybody has their eye on this, because everybody does have an issue with that. But
And I
that's the
appreciate
reality
that.
we're dealing with right now, and it's being dealt with.
Just like the jail, we've been straightening it up. We brought in a director. We're looking at the procedures. We're trying to answer the federal judge's questions. Everything they've mandated on us, we're required to do. But we may be hopefully soon that we met all the things they want, and we'll be off that hook, and that lowers our potential bills in the future. So these are the things we're trying to do step by step. Some successful, some not. So
Appreciate it.
okay, but ask questions
Thanks.
individually.
Thanks
So
for your answers.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Ridgway from Upper Deerfield and Fairfield Townships. The young lady that reads the resolution numbers, I'm hoping that she can use the microphone because we have trouble hearing her.
Ms. Cosbody, can you just lead into pull the microphone closer?
We would appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
At the work session 2 weeks ago, you pulled some resolutions. And I wrote on my paperwork that you pulled the prosecutor office resolution authorizing grant application to New Jersey Office of Attorney General for subgrant under the FFY 22 Stop Violence Against Women Act. And I found it in the agenda under the consent agenda. So I talked to Kathy this morning, and she told me that you didn't pull that, and I don't know why I checked it off that you did pull it. But anyway, I'm glad that you're going to pass this resolution so that the prosecutor's office can apply for this grant for violence against women. Because there is a lot of violence against women in today's world.
All right, Ms. Ridgway, just because I pulled off, if I did pull it off the consent agenda, which I did think I did, it's because I also like to make comments of why we're doing this, and I had a conversation with the prosecutor, and sometimes it's not bad. It's also the comment that we are doing something special.
That. I'm just
So-
saying that I was really a little confused because Kathy said you didn't pull it. It wasn't on her list. But evidently you took care of it. So, and I'm glad you're going to approve that tonight on the consent agenda. It's a very important resolution. And then, this is a little bit more complicated. On resolution 2023-174, the resolution authorizing approval to submit a grant application and to execute a grant contract with New Jersey Department of Transportation, New Jersey DOT, for the replacement of structure South Avenue over Roadcaps Road. We've had a lot of discussion about this in the past two years, and I'm glad you're going after a grant. I really am. But I want you to know something that upset me on February the 1st of February, at the County Planning Board meeting. The chairman of the board asked about the South Avenue Roadcaps Run. And months ago, Mr. John Carr told us that there was a whole list of DEP permits that had to be put in. The engineer told us at the meeting that the permits was put in December. 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took that long?
It took that long to put in the
The bridge has
permits.
been out for 2 years?
3 years.
3 years.
3.
3 years.
And we just put in for the permits from the DEP in December.
Yeah, isn't that kind of shocking?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I
It's
agree.
very disappointing.
Yep.
Very disappointing. And I know that months ago,
Why didn't it get done 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
I have no idea.
Well,
Well, yes, I do.
Why's that?
We did not have the money to do both roads.
To put permits in.
For permits?
To put permits?
We
It
did
doesn't
not
cost
have the
anything to
money.
put permits in.
We did not have the money.
I beg to differ on that.
Yeah, me
Well,
too.
that's what was stated in Fairfield Township. We only had the money
All
to
right,
do
you have 30
one side.
seconds, Ms. Ridgway.
I have 30 seconds left.
That's the official time.
Thank you very much. Okay, in 30 seconds' time,
10, 9,
I do know that months ago, our Department of Public Works did send a letter to South Jersey Transportation Planning Organization asking for the grant money.
Ms. Ridgway, we talked about it today. We were checking up on the permits today. And there's a lot of people here who received copies of that email, and we will follow up on it every chance we get until those permits are received and that culvert can be replaced.
I'm staying on top of it.
Well, stay on time, so wait. So, thank you.
all right.
All right, anyone else, or? Okay, see nobody else. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
No, we
Well,
got,
Oh, got
One
someone. Go on down. State your name and where do you live?
Good evening. All people that's present. My name is Cornelius Boone. I'm a resident of Vineland. And what it is that I represent credible New Jersey messenger of Cumberland. Why is this? Based upon the fact that our youth are being ignored at these meetings. I don't see not one young face in these meetings. The children should be here as an active part of these sessions due to this fact. In order for you to be replaced down the years, who's going to take your place? It surely won't be me. I'll be probably buried in my grave. But it is that we have an ongoing mass attack against the youth by us neglecting them. Why do I say that? 2/3 of these streets are filled with children. They curse more than a sailor do to each other. They didn't learn it in your homes. They learned it in the streets. They're going into the schools with this same vernaculism. People have tried on many occasions to be serviceable by some of the resolutions that's in this book right here. They're being denied. I ran across 6 young girls pregnant from the age of 14 to 16 that was kicked out of their house just this week alone. They can't get no help nowhere. They can't even get a hotel room because they're not old enough. There has to be some agency that's in place that's sitting in this room right here that can attend to these affairs. I've spoken to Mr. Deputy Commissioner Antonio Romero. He knows my plight. I'm in the streets every day. Not one day, rain, hail, sleet, or snow, I'm out there helping these people that needs help. This week alone, I've seen him 15 times in my travels, and I'm always by myself. Thanks be to God, this young man here have volunteered his services to help me to do what needs to be done. We need your help, everybody in this room here, to help these children to stay focused by teaching them the truth of what society has to offer them, not to sugarcoat it by giving them a denial, by not helping them to help themselves. I've been helping people since I was 8 years old. People thought I was 16 when I was 8 in Los Angeles, California, from where I'm originally from. I've traveled the world I've never seen the mass destruction in the children as I do see today. We need you to put some resolutions in this. I read this manual. It got Division of Youth. It got Services Group. One of your esteemed colleagues, Ms. Melissa Blau, she helps people. She needs more financial solutions to helping these people. There have been allocated money for these organizations that sit here, that representatives of them, that not getting the proper amount of money they need to get. You need to revalorize, to recycleize, to reconstruct everything up under your power to help these agencies to be more fruitful towards the public. I thank you very much. Would you like to say something?
No, not at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Boone.
Take care. Anyone else like to come forward? All right, seeing nobody, can I have a motion to close the public session?
So, second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, but the next, do you wanna, we'll go after the consent agenda?
It's not working.
The mic up there.
What?
When voting on resolutions, all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and having been reviewed by the Board of County Commissioners will be enacted by one motion. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any commissioner, board member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter. Any items requiring expenditure are supported by certification of availability of funds.
I would like to, on the consent agenda, we're gonna pull, resolution 2023-143. We're gonna pull that off consent agenda. All in favor of that? Aye.
Yes.
You want a first and a second on that?
I'm going to do a motion.
Okay, good enough, thanks.
I need a motion and a second to vote by consent agenda on resolutions 2023-119 through 2023-167, except for 2023-143.
So moved.
Second.
All in
Roll
favor?
call.
Oh,
Roll
you're
call.
doing roll call.
Commissioner Pearson?
Hold on a second. What were the numbers again?
2023 through 119 through 2023-167, except for 2023-143.
Yes, but I was abstaining on 150, 2023, 150.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes.
I need a motion and second to adopt resolutions 2023-119 through 2023-167 by consent agenda, except for 2023-143.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Oh.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes. All right, we're gonna
So just read that and then.
we're gonna move it to
Yes.
Okay.
Resolution 2023-143, resolution authorizing purchase of one Alamo 18-foot Samurai Boom, one Alamo Interstator 74-inch RH, and one Alamo Interstator for use with John Deere 5095M tractors for the Department of Public Works. Do you move to table it?
do Do this,
And a second?
yeah, all right, yeah, we need a first and a second on that.
I'll move.
Second.
Okay,
Voice vote? Right.
voice, all in favor?
All in
Or you
favor?
want to
A roll call.
do a roll call?
What
Commissioner
are you doing,
Pearson?
tabling it?
Yeah, we're
And
tabling.
tabling it.
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes.
No, I'm just saying for resolution. Resolution 2023-168. Resolution awarding a contract for providing comprehensive credible messenger youth anti-gang identification, notification, and mentoring program for the Cumberland County Prosecutor's Office, RFP 22-52. Roll call. Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Oh, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Abstain.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment on this. I talked to the prosecutor's office about it, had some questions as far as the program itself. I was assured that it's not just a Bridgeton-based program now. They're expanded it to Violet. They're just getting started rolling. I asked also how much we've put out to the Life Worth Living, but they were the only ones that kind of bid on this program. They have known that there's a problem, and I'm glad that they're working through the schools. I'm going to rely on the Board of Education in those districts to look after the program, how successful it is. But the prosecutor's office deems that this is that we have to reach out to work on this before there's issues. So I'm willing to go work with her, or at least follow along with her and see how it is, how it functions, and how successful it is. She assures me she is on top of this. She believes that this is worth doing, and my concern she met. But we're going to continue to look at this, and if it's successful, I hope it's expanded. I have also questioned why we're working in Millville and also out towards the other townships. It's a problem all over the county. So, and that they are trying to do that. So it's a yes.
And Director, real quick, I do know that there are also, the gentleman was just up here, they talked about working with the youth. I know they do work with our local youth too.
And here comes Madam Prosecutor.
Yes, they absolutely do. I know it in Bridgeton Public School District, where I worked for 8 years. They were in there and they did amazing work with our youth and with our students. And they were, stood shoulder to shoulder with the educators and with the students in the building all the time. So,
Ms. Prosecutor, you would like to say a few words, or?
I'm prepared to answer questions if you like, or I can say a few words about why you're voting on this evening.
I think actually we've completed our voting, so you're successful. So if you want to add something to that, that's up to you.
I sense from the comments that there are concerns about the Credible Messenger program. The Credible Messenger program did not originate in Cumberland County. It's a program that's in several other counties in the state, including Essex County, Camden County, Hudson County, and now Cumberland County. We had a grant called CC Thrive, which was a grant to address gang and gun violence amongst 10 to 26-year-olds. One of the initiatives that was presented to me at the time was the Credible Messenger program. It's a program where people with lived experiences, yes, people who possibly have had convictions in their life, go out and talk to other people who may engage themselves in that type of activity and explain to them that there can be consequences if you engage in gang and gun violence. When it was presented to me and when we engaged with respect to the CC Thrive grant, I asked my team to put in some guardrails so that I could make sure that the Credible Messenger program in Cumberland County started off soundly. So we contracted through that grant with Hudson County, who has an established Credible Messenger program, to come down here and do training. They did ethics. They did practice and protocol that's important for a credible messenger program. When hiring and working with individuals who have past criminal history, obviously we want to make sure that they don't have one foot still in that lifestyle and the new lifestyle of helping us spread a message of nonviolence. So when the program was first stood up and we contracted with them under CC Thrive, they did their normal criminal history backgrounds and what have you. And then the people that they vetted, they sent to me, and I had my organized crime detectives look at the names, and we said yes or no to the people that we wanted to work with. I would imagine that the school districts are doing the same thing. We will be doing the same thing with this grant. This is coming out of our CC Inc. grant, which is Cumberland County Identify, Notify, and Care. We got $499,000 pre-COVID. We got off to a slow start because of COVID, but in this resolution that you just authorized, we are going to be contracting with Life Worth Living, the Credible Messenger Program, to work with 50 eligible youth in Cumberland County, focusing on Bridgeton, Millville, and Vineland. These are going to be youth that have older siblings that have contact with my office, older siblings that we know have engaged in a gang and gun lifestyle. And it's important that we're working with these young people, because if we don't show them that there's an alternative to that lifestyle, they may end up in our courtrooms being the people that we prosecute. I understand why people have concerns about us I asked the question, why should the prosecutor's office be the one to be standing up a credible messenger program? The reason why is nobody else in the community is doing it. Everybody's afraid to work with past criminals. However, I say every time I go around this community, most people are not going to spend the rest of their life in prison. We have to believe in redemption, and we have to give people the tools to do that and redeem themselves. So as a lawyer, and we get a bad rap, I heard about the bills that we charge. My job is about managing risk. So as we engage with the Credible Messenger Program, I will use the tools that I put in place when we first stood up this program. Although they are not a part of the prosecutor's office, we do partner with them to make sure that we're managing risk. And I thank you for supporting things that are not traditionally prosecutor's office types of activities, because my belief is the only way to reimagine public safety is to stop dealing with people when they get to the back end of the system. We have to start working with them in the schools. We have to start working with them when they're young to show them that the world is bigger than possibly the lifestyles that they're growing up with their families, and that they do have choices, and they can make healthy, positive choices and live productive lives right here in Cumberland County. So I appreciate you supporting this one resolution and supporting me in my effort to reimagine public safety.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is it kind of like, is it like a mentorship? These people are coming to the schools? Because I'm a teacher. It'll be nice to see that they're finally there.
What Credible Messengers do, you saw it after the Fairfield Township party, I hate to even say it, mass shooting. We were able to work with Life Worth Living, who at the time was contracted with us, to go out into the community and sometimes the schools and talk about the fact that you don't have to retaliate with gun violence, that the people that are, we can talk till we're blue in the face and say that's not the solution, but when people with lived experiences who have suffered the consequences and who they can relate to, tell them at least the efforts that are going on across the county say that this is starting to work. What's the word? The question is still out there, how scientifically successful this is, but you will see programs like this across the country, because if we keep doing what we've already done, which is paying the law enforcement premium for all of the social ills that people experience in society, we're never going to be able to afford it. You look at your budgets. How much of your budget is spent on law enforcement? So we have to start working with front-end systems and also trying out other types of solutions to solve the violence and the crime that we experience in our community, which is directly related to poverty. We don't have the same scale of violence that you see in Essex County, in Newark, in Patterson, in Passaic County, in Hudson County. But if you take our scale of violence and measure it across our population, our percentages are right up there, and it's directly related to poverty.
Madam Prosecutor, I just want to really thank you and your entire department for taking an initiative that is literally outside of the box. Most people don't look at the prosecutor's office as being proactive and trying to stop that pipeline. And I just want to know, every time I hear you talk about this program, it's really amazing what it does and why it's being done. Thank you for leaving that legacy. It's a wonderful one, and everybody here is so proud to support it. It's the right thing to do.
Thank you.
And
Madam Prosecutor, I have one question for you. When the messengers come into the schools, because there's been some, you've probably heard some of the scuttlebutt. Can you explain the process a little bit when the messengers actually go into the schools and talk to some of the students?
I don't manage the school program.
Is there anybody here that can maybe approach
The
that?
superintendents from Bridgeton and Vineland, who are already working with Life Worth Living, have made their own contracts with the program. I've been very transparent with them that yes, we took a part in standing up a responsible program, but they are not part of the prosecutor's office. We partner with the Credible Messengers program. So my recommendation to them was to do the same thing that I do. They vet their people, they run criminal histories on their people. I just take an extra step of running them through my detectives to get an idea of.
So you're assisting in the vetting department?
I'm not assisting in the vetting department for the school boards. I'm assisting in the vetting department for my efforts.
Okay.
They need to do the same thing with their police departments for their efforts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 2023-169, resolution authorizing grant application to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Program for Jake's Law Playground funding. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-170, resolution approving 2% salary increase for the year 2022 and 2023 for the Cumberland County Division of Social Services rank and file staff at maximum step. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes, with the comment that we're doing this is not settle the contract. This is to give them a raise we figure they're going to receive anyway, and then the details will work out. It was a result of them coming to a meeting earlier that we spoke about this, and we wanted to be proactive, and I hope you appreciate it because all the commissioners were on board with this, and you see the vote tonight. We're still not done. We still need to iron it out, and I hope we do that soon. So, yes.
Resolution 2023-171, resolution authorizing assignment in the matter of Raymond Lamar Brown versus County of Cumberland, U.S. District Court, District of New Jersey, docket number 1:20-CV 7907-NLH-KMW. Do I have a motion and a second?
Before we have that, Mr. Carter, do you want to just explain for Mr. Hawk why we're doing this one?
Sure.
So we'll do this for every one of them.
A brief statement, as I will make or be prepared to make for each one of these. This is a class action suit naming multiple defendants in this particular case, or as to this resolution. This is an attorney that's no longer on your list of counsel for 2023. The case has been reassigned as to this officer. The county is defending this officer to the extent that while his claims may be insular or discrete from the county claims as a whole, that to the extent his actions or the actions complained of were consonant with his job duties, then state law and the collective bargaining agreement call for you to defend him.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right. Motions?
So moved.
Second.
We're going roll call. Okay.
Commissioner Pearson?
Abstain.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-172, resolution authorizing increase of monetary ceiling for legal expenses in the litigation matter of Brown, Clark versus Charles Warren, U.S. District Court, docket number 1:20-CV-7907.
Mr. Carter, before we.
So, same matter. This is as to the county. This board has been loud and clear, and I can tell you that as recently as today, your BA and I were communicating with outside counsel on the matter of trying to reach a global resolution of this matter. I hope to report positive steps in the near term, but in the meantime, you are obligated to continue to defend yourselves, and that's what I'm doing.
This is the federal lawsuit.
That is accurate, class action suit.
The class, so we have to deal with it, which I want to remark that this law firm we brought in, what the case was chaos until they got involved, and I'm very pleased. They so far how much money they're charging, they actually it's worth every penny because they've got us to a point that we might be out from under this in the short run. So
doing everything I can. Yes.
Okay. Make a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-1773, resolution authorizing increase of monetary ceiling for legal expenses in matter of Brooks disciplinary appeal in accordance with NJAC 5:30-5.3 through NJAC 5:30-5.5.
Again, Mr. Carr, you want to tackle this one?
Sure. This is a matter of an appealed termination. While this board has been very vocal about trying to cut attorney's fees, and there are ongoing negotiations trying to resolve this, the matter itself has to be continued to be prosecuted in the courts while any other resolution is brought about. So this is that process of just keeping the matter alive while we try to negotiate some better resolution for the county.
And I'll add that we are very we've adamant that we would like this resolved, and that the commissioners have been working. So and I think this is one of the ones we could get off our docket for sure. So
this is another one both your BA and I are very involved in trying to resolve. Yes.
Should I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Commissioner Pearson?
Abstain.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
No.
Resolution 2023-174, resolution authorizing approval to submit a grant application and to execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the replacement of structure number 06FO-031:CR609 over Rocaps Run Culvert Project. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes,
Musso?
yes. How many times can I vote yes?
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
I'll second that, definitely yes. Yeah.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
And I'm going to say, since we've had the time, we're waiting for the permits, that this is what we're working towards, and getting money, additional money to do this project. So yes.
Resolution 2023-175, Resolution authorizing assignment of all contract negotiations involving PBA 231 to the firm of Blaney, Donahue, and Weinberg. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
I want to make a comment before the comment is we're changing our our attorneys that are negotiating this. We feel and we've heard that that the previous previous representation had was a little rough relationship with this union, and hopefully in the future that they'll take other negotiations and people feel. May feel the same way that why we're changing our representation to negotiations. So, of course, it's a yes.
Resolution 2023-176, resolution authorizing a shared service agreement between the County of Cumberland and participating governing bodies for specific mosquito control operations training. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call. Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes, and this is the previous speaker. This is the thing we were talking about. That we've pushed for, and was pushed for by the townships. This hopefully is the beginning of many things with that working with the townships to get county business done as quickly as possible. Because they know their area better than I will ever know their area. So this is a good thing. So yes.
Resolution 2023-177, resolution authorizing assignment in the matter of Raymond Lamar Brown, First County of Cumberland, U.S. District Court, District of New Jersey, docket number 1:20-CV 7907, NLH KMW, to represent Greg Zeff in connection with a subpoena. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Pearson?
Abstain.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes.
And to be clear, this is the one we discussed.
Yes. This is Ms. Acevedo asked about. So.
Resolution 2023-178, resolution authorizing agreements with the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Family Development for FFY 2023, Title 9-D reimbursement. Motion second.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes.
Resolution 2023-179, resolution amending Resolution 2023-60 in order to correct the award number issued by the New Jersey Juvenile Justice Commission. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes.
Commissioner Musso?
Yes.
Commissioner Capizola?
Yes.
Commissioner Saleo?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodes?
Yes.
Deputy Director Romero?
Yes.
Director Albrecht?
Yes. Now we're okay.
I already got the mic.
You already got it. You're on.
All right. We began the month of January with a balance of $52,321,161.14. We had cash receipts of $6,006,963.31, and then cash disbursements of $16,487,701.31 for an ending cash balance of $41,840,423.14. There's an attached list of itemized investments with a grand total of $58,957,394.31. If the board so chooses, they can make a motion to file for audit.
So moved.
Motion.
So moved. Second.
Voice vote. Voice vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right.
Can I have a motion and second for authorizing payment of all salary and wages?
So moved.
Second.
Voice vote. Voice vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna move into, public comment period again, but before we start, so I wanna make I can read my notes, I wanna make a couple, comments. The first one is, I attended a homeless, in the city of Ireland, had a homeless session with business leaders, the Spirit of Truth Ministries, many pastors were there, regarding, and the idea was to come up with solutions, how to deal with the homeless issue in the city of Ireland, which I say city of Ireland, but it's everywhere, so it's not just there. It was kind of more of a complaining session until, and I believe, Ms. Niles came up with an idea, and I'm going to throw this out to you, and I would like our board to kind of consider this. She brought up that they were talking about enforcement, and she mentioned an act, and it's actually a Florida statute, Baker Act, and I had actually our solicitor look into this, and I don't know if it's been forwarded to you, these comments, but it's a statewide statute, so it's not like something we can implement here, but it's there's no one solution for the homeless issue. There's people suffer from mental issues, there's people drug addiction, there's many other issues we are not gonna solve with a wand. But one of the things that as the police department that was there, they were they basically were like, their hands are it's a revolving door, and many times they take care of the problem. Someone has been sleeping in the doorway or urinating in a business, blocking, disturbing people walking in, disturbing the neighborhood, and they may bring that person to Bridgeton, and within an hour they're back on the street before they even filled out the report what they did. So it's very frustrating to them. And I'll just give you the synopsis of it, but I've asked them for detailed, give them a typical action that happens when they're dealing with this problem, and it's very frustrating. The Spirit of Truth Ministry, which I believe does a great job, are getting beat up daily because there are people that are hungry and are coming there, and it's probably a lot of time at Ellen people don't want to see, but they are hungry. So that was what they would like them to move to somewhere else. And of course, they mentioned neighborhoods. And I go, wait a minute, that's my neighborhood, or that's not what they want to see. It's there, and it's not the food kitchen's problem. It's not their problem. They're just trying to do something good. So the bottom line is, I'm going to say this to you, and I got an opinion from our business administrator and our solicitor that this is just the way it is in the state of New Jersey. We always, and I'll say this to the prosecutor in the back of the room, that we always value individual liberty and right. That's great. But I also consider that society, and I and everyone in this room also has the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And when people, if they're jumping up in a corner and not bother the soul but themselves, I have no problem. But when they cross the line and they bother, the society itself has to suffer, and their happiness suffers because they can't handle it. They have mental problems, or they're drug addicted, and they don't even know they have problems or can't deal with them. This act actually gives more time that a doctors or a trained psychologist can have this person put aside for 72 hours in order that maybe they realize they need help, mental help, or with their drug addiction, they have problems. It's not going to solve all the homeless issue. There's other issues part of that. But I thought this was an interesting step. And I'm really, I ask every member of this board to please read it and read their opinions of it. That maybe we can't do it ourselves, but maybe we could actually talk in one voice and say, wait, let's let our senators, our assembly people know that this is something that kind of is common sense, that we can't swing the pendulum so far that it affects everybody else but that individual. And now it's time maybe to come back just a little bit and say, wait a minute, we have plenty of resources to help, but if you don't take advantage of it, you can't help them. So maybe by pause it for 3 days or 72 hours or whatever it was, maybe they'll realize, wait a minute, I want help, I'll take it. And maybe maybe that solves one person out of our homeless population we saved, we solved the problem, and creates one less headache for the people in that neighborhood. So I'll just say this, that please look at it. I would like to ask you maybe next time we get together to draft, we'll draft a resolution, send it to our elected representatives, our state representatives, to start the pendulum kind of swinging a little bit, to give the power of the community, society back a little bit of be able that they live by the rules, that other people have to live by the rules also. And if they don't, they affect other people, well, now they're called on the carpet. Not just society has to suffer. So, so I just say that to you, there's no action. I just want you to consider that. And I actually have asked for the law enforcement to put what happens, and you're not hearing from Doug Albrecht. I've also asked that there's a meeting on March 6th between our mental health people and the law enforcement. I would like them to have an opinion on this, to ponder maybe, if this is not perfect, let's adjust it and say, all right, well, we can live with this. I want our mental health professionals to take a stand. They actually see the problem more than we do, and they understand it better, and I would like them to put their opinion out on how do we do, is this a good idea? So that's
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Just for clarity.
Go ahead.
So the idea is for law enforcement to get involved and basically get people and they get them into a facility or someplace. The reason I'm asking is because New York City has the same program, and where the homeless people are picked up because they are a danger to themselves. And sometimes the capacity to take care of themselves is just not there, nor do they know where the services are. So law enforcement is working to take them to the facility for X amount of time to get them stabilized and to help them be protected. So this is the same thing
that's
that you're
kind of like
talking
we're
about?
talking about.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
all right,
Director, I had a long talk with several people from the county, and also a couple of the attorneys. And the situation is that nobody wants this particular thing in their backyard. Everybody may not admit it, but they don't want it in their backyard. It's the soup kitchen. What happens is that there's people, there are people that end up in the streets, and it ruins the quality of life for either businesses or for restaurants and so on. And there's been some complaints. Now, this is not just in Vineland. I'm sure it's Bridgeton, Millville, and it's not just Cumberland countywide, it's all over. And as you get more urban, it gets worse and worse. You can see what's happening in New York, San Francisco, Seattle. They're trying to ease the residents and also the businesses in the area so they don't feel the pain, ruin the quality of life. So therefore, we can maybe take a soup kitchen, maybe move it, or keep the soup kitchen where it is. And this is just one particular situation. But then, like what the director said, have the police department and or other authorities take them off the streets, make them comfortable. The problem is some of these particular people don't want to be comfortable. They want to stay where they are. And these are the issues that, unfortunately, businesses have to deal with. I've had complaints about Millville, where some of the people who are on the Buck Street, staying on the river, throwing bricks through windows on High Street. Personal friend of mine complained several times about it. Another one had to board up the business. That was vacant property. His windows got smashed also. So these are kind of things that we're trying to be compassionate, as well as being thoughtful to the residents who also live here. And that's really more to what the director has been talking about.
Yeah, Mr. Director, I'm wholeheartedly in support. I do know the city of Bridgeton is also trying to work on developing a homeless summit, and hopefully some way working with Director Niles and working with the social services, that everybody, and law enforcement, that I think your idea to formulate a plan sounds like a good start.
I appreciate that, Pearson, because I think we have to start talking across everything as far as everybody has their little area to cover. We have to be talking to everywhere. And I'll say the workforce development is in here also. It all ties in together that you get people, then you have to work to find, they get a job because everything goes from there that they can think straight. And I appreciate your comments, Mr. Cilio. It just, we have to do something different. That's what I'm asking us to do, and I hopefully we're all on board. Well, let's find out what I'm talking about, and then decide next time. Come and ask questions on that.
Research.
Yeah, well, the business administrator Hal Johnson has done, and also John Carr has also looked into it. And okay, so you see what I saw there, what they analyzed, but we're asking to do something the state of New Jersey is not feel that this is the way they look at it, so we're going uphill, but everything starts first. We have to start somewhere. So, and I do appreciate you mentioning the summit because that's why I mentioned this March 6th meeting. We want people talking, so this is great. So Mayor Kelly's kind of said some things, so that's good. I don't want to forget, there's one other thought. Thank you on that one. I was trying to put this aside, but there's yeah.
You afraid?
Sorry, bear with me because I'll forget right in the middle of it. So, all right. Well, I did have another idea I want to throw out too. So that's the most important one right now. I know I'm going to remember this. Sorry, people, I do this a lot, so I to get on tangents. But okay, that's the. All right, we'll move on. Can I have a motion to open it to the public?
I'll make a motion to open the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone from the public like to address on any issue they feel comfortable with a talk? State your name and title and.
Joe Claudy, committeeman, Commercial Township. Across the river, we have a gem called the Morristown Waterfront Park. Morristown is on the National Historic Register of Historic Places, and the park sits on the wild and scenic Morris River. The park was built around the original Morristown Bridge, built in 1888. Anyone that remembers that old steel bridge with a wooden deck also remembers there was a large key that was hand-turned to swing the bridge by a bridge keeper. When the new concrete bridge was erected, the commercial township side of the bridge was transformed into a park for the residents. This park includes a parking lot, benches, a gazebo with picnic areas, and the bulkhead that supports a fishing pier. At the water's edge, also retained was a large section of the old bridge. The park's used by local fishermen on a regular basis from early spring until late fall. Bird watchers also frequent the park to watch the swallows and bald eagles. The powerful tide has taken its toll on the park. The heavy steel sheet pile that makes up the bulkhead is failing. There are basketball-sized holes allowing backfill to be washed away every time the tide changes. For the last 9 months, one area of the park has been roped off with caution tape due to a sinkhole that has formed. Excuse me. Our engineers estimate the repairs to cost $706,000. They contracted W. Castle to perform an underwater inspection on the bulkhead and found the corrosion is widespread. We've applied for funding through the local recreation improvement grant, but we fear that any funding awarded will not nearly be enough. If there's any help that you can provide directly or help in securing this for this critical repair, we certainly appreciate it.
Mr. Cloudy, I did ask Matt Masarczyk to look at that when you brought that up to me to see what we can do. So is Matt still in the room, or any
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh, sorry, Matt, let's see, that any comment you could make, because you were very familiar with this park, so.
Right, so we can reach out to our contacts at DEP and DCA and see if there are any grants available. There may be. I'm not familiar enough with what's currently available to see for this particular issue what there may be. We can look into it.
Okay, Scotty, we'll stay on top of it. I have not gone there myself yet. To see, but we'll stay on top of it. You keep me informed. We'll try to figure out what we can do, and if we can help you, we will. So
Fair enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Conlon.
I'd like to see it, Joe.
Sandy Acevedo, Upper Deerfield Township. This question is for you, Director Ulbrich. For the past several years, we've noticed that you have voted no to paying the bills. Can you tell us what procedures, or if any, have changed that where you feel comfortable voting yes to the payment of the bills now?
Yeah, because we now look at the bills before we mail out the bills and pay them. We're actually voting on it. So before we paid bills before this commission voted on it. That's why I objected to voting for it. And now we don't mail it out. We prepare them, but we do not mail them out until this board says we can pay them. That's the difference.
We see them ahead of time.
That's the difference. So any board I've ever served on, the board is the one that decides to pay the bills, not the staff. So that's what's changed.
Okay, so the bills only get paid once a month then, is that?
No, twice a month. We've actually, we missed, I apologize, 1 week we did miss, but at work session and this, we will read the bills ahead of time, so we will not miss. I am a small businessman. I do like to get I get, so
Yeah,
the
no,
idea is.
that's fine. I
yeah.
just didn't
So I
know
like
whether
people
the
getting
procedures
paid.
had changed and what
Yeah.
procedures,
The
how they
procedure's
changed.
simple as that nothing gets paid until this board approves payment, and we're trying to do, that's why we switched to every other week instead of, so we now don't space it too far between payments, so that's why I feel comfortable voting to pay the bill now, because I'm voting to pay the bills, and that's my job. That's my fiduciary responsibility to be on this board, is to decide when to pay the bills. And I assume everybody, all the commissioners feel the same way, that that's important. So, okay, so that's what's
Thank you.
changed. Okay.
I think I can do it that fast. Good evening again. I'm Nancy Ridgway from Upper Deerfield and Fairfield Township. Somebody's got the timer on me. We have changed. We've changed a lot of things since January. And one of the things we've changed is the cassette agenda. And at the work session, we're going, a lot of people, we haven't quite figured it out, but I think I've figured it out and I think I can fix it. Or maybe I can suggest that you fix it. Resolutions on the consent agenda are routine in nature.
Supposedly, yes.
So at the work session, we go over those. So at the work session, is it possible that we could approve those and vote on them? And then at your regular meeting, at the work session, we could go over the rest of the stuff, but then at the regular meeting, we can just do the regular agenda like you want it done. And it would save a lot of paperwork and paper and ink for printing if we decided to switch it around a little bit.
Mr. Ridgway, the consent agenda, we're trying to speed it up as far as saving
Well, I know
another tree.
you're trying to speed it
Yeah.
up, and I'm trying to speed it up even more, that we don't have to go over it again tonight. And that's my suggestion.
Well, actually,
But that's okay. I mean, you just
okay, the
put
staff,
it in your hat and smoke it in your pipe, and let's see what happens, okay? It's just a suggestion. I only got 30 more seconds. Okay,
I'll take it under consideration.
we are live streaming the meetings, and we are on channel 22. And what I failed to say earlier was, this is a public service announcement that I'm going to make as a citizen. North from Fairfield Township, you can come north on Grove Street to Baltimore Avenue now. It's 2 directions. Just that short difference, the short distance from the Fairfield Township line to Burlington, yeah, it's Baltimore. It's not Burlington, it's Baltimore Avenue. And we should have had this discussion when the road opened up a couple weeks ago, the first of the month, or the second week of the month. He said he was going to do it, and folks, he actually done it. You can come to Bridgeton from Fairfield Township. Applaud him.
Wow. Wait a minute, let's end the meeting now, because
Yeah. Let's quit while we're ahead.
Thank you.
Hi, Ken Wells, Mayor Marshall. Ms. Ridgway is always a tough act to follow. But I just wanted to say thank the commissioners for coming out tonight and doing this. Thank the staff. They did an excellent job getting the tech all worked out. And thank the public for coming out. I think it was a great meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. State your name and where you're from.
Good evening. My name is Montra Haddon. I work at the Division of Social Services. I really just want to let you know, last year I applied for an investigator position at the division through civil service. There were 8 of us on the list. I believe only 6 of us were interviewed. We were all interviewed on the same day. So all of a sudden, the position disappeared. I filed an appeal with the Division of Appeals with Civil Service. So just so you know, I've been doing some checking. Expect a bill because there were laws that were broken. You can't just pull when you call for a list, you can't just pull it without picking somebody from the list. So there will be a bill coming for a fine, I'm quite sure. I don't know the amount, but I know it's coming. I don't know why it was pulled. When I started there were 2 investigators. There's now 1 for the entire Cumberland County. And now we have a lot of fraud going, so we have 1 investigator for the entire Cumberland County.
How long ago, my dear?
How long ago what? How long ago what?
How long ago did you apply for the position?
It was back in early 2022. I can get you an exact date
Early
and everything.
2022?
I can get you an exact date.
When did you find it got pulled?
I can get you the date because I have the emails.
Okay.
I do, just so you know. And Deputy Director, did you ever find out where those laptops were when you came to our building?
Yes, they are in they're in your meeting room.
So they are there?
They are there, yes.
Okay. And another thing, it's like I was kind of annoyed because I paid $25 to be on the list and it gets pulled. This is dead in the water. I can't afford to spend $25 for nothing.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Paige, would you like to just look into that to
Sure, and I recall the situation, but I wouldn't be comfortable answering until I refresh my memory from last year, but
fine.
absolutely,
Okay.
we'll get back to everyone.
Is that okay, acceptable? We'll look into that, so let's add it. Okay.
That sure is.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, make a motion to close the public session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, do you want to make a motion to,
Commissioner reports? Commissioner reports?
do we have any, closed session or nothing? Okay. Sorry about that. Does anyone have, we want to start, you want to call out or just?
Whoever.
John, do you have any updates on your,
Not at this time.
at the time? Okay. Ms. Russo?
Just real quick, today we had our aging advisory council, and it was just brought up that we have some vacancies for whether it's Office of Aging, CATS. So if anybody's interested in volunteer on one of those advisory boards, please, bring the names up. As of today, I know the minimum of aging, there's 4, CATS has 2. Disability Advisory has 2, so we do have some available, so I just want to make it as out in the public to say, if you know anybody that's interested, please have their resume sent to Barbara, and then Barbara will forward it to us.
Ms. Pearson, do you have any?
No formal report. I just want to thank Maurice River Township for their hospitality. Y'all live a long way. This county is huge. It's huge, but it's always a beautiful drive. The sun was setting over the bridge, and it's just, thank you all so much for opening your doors to us.
So, do you have anything?
I'd like to echo Commissioner Pearson's remarks. Thank you to Maurice River Township for having the county here in the building. It's nice to be on this side of the county for a change, so we certainly appreciate you opening up your home to us. Thank you.
Mr. Sylvia?
I have a report for most of the mayors. We're still making some headway with the animal shelter. We're working on the particulars. There are some municipalities that are short on information that needs to get to Tony Stanzione. So if you guys are in the room, that needs to get to him, because we can form a better opinion on what the particular consulting company is going to suggest to us once we get that information in. And again, I want to thank all my boys down here in Maurice River Township. I love all you shipbuilders. I love all you welders, because you're all my guys. And I tell you what, I've been talking to you for 35 years now. I love you all, so thank you.
Price of metal just went up.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, price of steel went up.
Well, same here. I like Victoria said, I like to echo on thanking Maurice River Township for having us down. And, it's great to move around and to go visit different parts of our county. And we have a lot of mayors in here today that we normally don't see them when we're in Bridgeton. And if you would like to get on the list for us to visit your town, make sure you get a hold of one of us, and we'll do so. So I thank you, and have a good night.
Again, I'll say thank you, and actually, there's Mr. Rivera's comment. There is we did get another invitation to Lawrence Township tonight to go there. We will try to every quarter go one place, and maybe twice in one quarter we'll try to go 2 places. So it puts a lot of strain on our staff, but they did an excellent job tonight to pull this off. So I would say that. So it's a lot of logistics to get this pull this off, but it's the first one, and it's really I'm kind of proud that we're doing this. And we will crisscross this county and try to show our show. We will get better at this, our show on the road. So next time we'll be in the chambers. I've lost the other comment I was going to make, but just so you know, and actually it was good that real quick that Committee of Quality was here, Joe Quality, because we've been working on the idea of sewer, water, or at least water running towards Commercial Township. We found a lot of things that the county assets on the map, and that includes in Port Norris the ability of having a sewer plant. Maurice River Township is not far from Commercial. Commercial is not far from Millville. And we like what we getting a lot of positive feedbacks that I hope we can put something together. It may not happen in our lifetime, but at least with the DEP, but at least we could try. And but I think that pulls us together as a county that this something we take for granted elsewhere. So, or it's taking for granted elsewhere. So I thank you. So, all right, do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. 7:59.
I'm glad you said that because the police is just a move, and I really appreciate it.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.